Hello there, everyone. I'd like to tell you about a really interesting study by Ravenscroft et al. From 2021 on cat human related activities associated with human well-being. So, why is this study so special? Well, it investigates the psychological and emotional benefits and risks of cat ownership, and this is definitely under researched compared to the same area in dogs. It also focuses on specific interactions and their effects on well being, not just the overall effects of having a cat, and that also makes it very interesting. Let's discuss the overall purpose of the research project. Well, the researchers aimed to investigate how cat human activities affect owners' self reported well being. This means they were aiming to ask cat owners their opinions about the different activities that positively or negatively affect their well-being. Their hypotheses, or the results that they were expecting to find, were that some cat human activities have a positive effect on owner well-being, while others have a negative effect. They also hypothesized that would be more cat human activities with a positive effect than the number of those with a negative effect. The research methodology was as follows. So, a number of cat owners were recruited, and 17 of them were ultimately interviewed. Some were kept and reserved in case they were needed, but they weren't needed in the end. The cat owners were interviewed using video conferencing because it was during COVID-19 and that was to keep everyone safe. The interviews were carried out on a one-to-one basis and they lasted anything from 15 to 56 minutes, depending on the extent of the discussion involved. So, different concepts of well-being were explained to the owners, and then they were asked for their opinions on the different activities associated with cat ownership that impacted their well-being. So, in this case, hedonic well-being, life satisfaction, and eudaimonic well-being. And I'll be discussing those terms shortly. The interviews were transcribed, they were recorded and then transcribed, and similar activities were grouped into themes that were then coded and analyzed using special software, in this case NVivo 11. So this is called thematic analysis and it is a common way of analyzing data in the social sciences. So qualitative data where numbers and figures or measurements aren't involved. I mentioned earlier that the well-being aspects explored in this study were hedonic well-being, life satisfaction, and eudaimonic well-being. So, what is hedonic well-being? Well, it's about the maximization of pleasure and the minimization of pain, where pleasure should be greater than pain. And it focuses on people's reflexive emotions or feelings. Life satisfaction is a person's conscious evaluation of their overall quality of life. It's a cognitive task. Eudaimonic well-being is psychological well-being or the living of a fulfilling life, and is considered to contain or to be made up of six different elements. So there's autonomy or independence, which is freedom to build one's own life and determine one's own journey or path. Self-acceptance, so the acceptance of the current and past self, coping with life demands, personal growth and development, which is about learning and growing new skills, good relationships with others, connection is important there, and life purpose or meaning. Their results are really interesting. Firstly, a cat's mere presence without the owner directly interacting with him or her at all improved hedonic and eudaimonic well-being. In terms of hedonic or emotional well-being, observing the cat in their daily activities, such as scratching using a scratching post, playing, or watching the prey out in the garden, this provoked positive emotions, and the cat joining them on the bed lessened their sadness. In terms of eudaimonic or psychological well being, the elements of a fulfilling life, having a cat enhanced self acceptance, perhaps because the cat themselves accepted them. It also enhanced owners' ability to cope with the demands of life. And this isn't the researcher speaking, but perhaps that's because it provoked those positive emotions and lessened sadness, so made certain things easier. From my own point of view as well, the fact that the presence of a cat without even interacting with the cat is beneficial to well-being, to owner welfare, makes me think that it kind of explains somewhat why an owner still enjoys having a cat that's a bit feral or isn't very affectionate. So that's interesting, I think, to bear in mind. The owners also experience benefits from directly interacting with their cat. In terms of hedonic or emotional well being, they enjoyed feeding, talking to, and playing with their cat, and this caused them happiness. And I can totally understand that. Tactile contacts, such as stroking, petting, cuddling their cat, or having their cat on their lap, or their cat purring, promoted calm relaxation. Again, I'm not surprised at all about that. Those of us who are familiar with cats or have been lucky enough to have had cats in our lives can really identify with that. That it's really enjoyable to be petting or stroking a cat, especially if they're on our laps, and purring is the best sound in the world. In terms of eudaimonic well-being, handling the cat increased owners' self-acceptance. Petting or cuddling the cat also enhanced coping with life, perhaps because it generated positive emotions. And training the cat facilitated personal growth. Again, I'm not surprised about that because in order to train an animal, we have to research, learn, and practice a new skill. And it's also really satisfying to see success as a result of that. The researchers also found that there were benefits to cat ownership even when the cat wasn't physically present. Emotional or hedonic well being was enhanced by buying things for their cat, for taking photographs or videos of their cat and showing them to loved ones, and engaging with cat related social media. In addition to this, eudaimonic well-being was enhanced by talking about their cat. This helped improve self-acceptance and also gave something for their owners to talk about with others, something in common that helped them to develop good relationships. Providing care for their cat gave them a purpose, and the caretaking responsibility associated with owning a cat and researching cat behaviour as well led to personal growth. The researchers also found that there were some cat activities that had a negative effect on owner well-being, although there were fewer of those than the activities that promoted owner well-being. So, feline behavioral problems such as attention seeking or aggression cause stress, frustration, and guilt in the owners, negatively affecting hedonic well being. As veterinary professionals, we can help with this. We can advise clients on the appropriate physical, social, and olfactory environment for cats, thereby reducing their motivation to engage in problem behaviors. We can also advise clients on appropriate training techniques and give them a recommendation or a referral to an appropriately qualified feline behaviorist if need be. In terms of eudaimonic well-being, some owners found that having a responsibility for a cat reduced their freedom, so it was harder for them to do things like spontaneously meet friends or go on holiday. If we meet prospective cat owners before they adopt a cat, we can make them aware of the responsibilities and challenges of cat ownership in advance and help them plan to mitigate against some of them, such as finding a reliable cat sitter or cattery for when they go away. Life satisfaction was also found to be negatively affected by their cat bringing prey home, and this is one of the few times that life satisfaction came up as a theme in the study. And it's totally understandable because it can be very distressing and unpleasant when we encounter this. However, it may be impossible to totally eliminate this behaviour because many cats are highly motivated to hunt even when they're receiving appropriate nutrition and enough food. But again, education becomes important here. We can educate clients that it's a normal behaviour. We can also educate them on appropriate play in terms of how to play with cats and how often. And we can also talk to them about times where the cats are allowed to go in and be outside, and that can maybe be helpful too. To summarize, owning a cat enhances both hedonic and eudaimonic well-being. There are more owner-cat activities that benefit human well-being than harm it. Even just owning a cat, without even directly interacting with them, is beneficial to well-being. But direct interactions such as tactile contact, feeding, and play are beneficial too. As veterinary professionals, we may be able to reduce some of the negative aspects of cat ownership through education and support. Thank you for watching. Here is the reference, and it's open access, it's free to access and read, and you can find it by putting this into Google Scholar, so doing a Google Scholar search. If you liked this video, please hit like so that I know that you'd like me to create more of them, and I'll talk to you again soon.